April 24th just passed. Sachin Tendulkar turned 53. And in the birthday week of the greatest run scorer the game has ever seen, I want to do something the critics never did. Let the data speak. For 24 years, a single argument has followed this man: that his hundreds were beautiful, that his hundreds were prolific, but that when it mattered most, they were ultimately his, not India's, the stat padder myth. This week, we test it. To understand why this argument is wrong, you have to understand the 1990s. In Test cricket, between 1990 and 1999, Sachin Tendulkar scored 5,626 runs for India. The next best Indian Test batsman in that decade was Mohammad Azharuddin, with 3,880. The gap between them was 1,746 runs. That is not a gap, that is a canyon. Rahul Dravid, who would go on to become one of the greatest Test batsmen of all time, scored 2,698 runs in that decade. Ganguly scored 2,432. While his teammates were learning to become great, Sachin was already carrying the load alone. And the load was not just at home. Away from India, in South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia, where the pitches swung and seamed, and the conditions were hostile. Away from home, most Indian batsmen had one good series and then disappeared. Sachin showed up every time for the entire decade, fundamental against every attack. In every look at his ODI strike rate of 86 and call it slow. They compare it to the T20 era, where 140 is now routine, and conclude he was merely an accumulator. But context is everything. When Sachin was at his peak in the 1990s, the global median ODI strike rate was around 70. Batting first, 240 was a competitive total. In that context, his strike rate was not slow. It was 20% faster than the era average. He was not behind the curve. He was the curve. And the runs he scored were not merely accumulated, they were punished. Of his 18,426 ODI runs, more than half came from boundaries, fours and sixes, not patient singles and ones and twos. He did not grind, he attacked. Now let us address the myth directly. Out of Sachin's 49 ODI centuries, India won 33 times. That is a 67% win rate. In tests, only 11 of his 51 centuries ended in defeat. The criticism begins to fall apart at first contact with the numbers. But we can go deeper. We can measure his actual impact on India's probability of winning. Across 452 ODI appearances, the picture is stark. In matches where Sachin scored 75 runs or more, India's odds of winning were 2.17 times higher than in matches where he did not reach that mark. That is not a coincidence. That is a signal. Against Australia, the dominant team of that era, the multiplier was 7.1 times, not 7%, not 1.7 times, 7 times. Stat padders do not show up in World Cups. The pressure is too high, the opposition too strong, the stage too bright. Sachin Tendulkar has scored 2,278 runs across Cricket World Cups. That is the most by any player in the history of the tournament. Virat Kohli is second at 1,795. Ricky Ponting third at 1,743. The gap between Sachin and the greatest run scorer of the modern era is 483 runs. In 2003, he set the all-time record for most runs in a single World Cup campaign. 673 at an average of 61. 8 years later, in 2011, he was again India's top scorer with 482 runs across 9 innings. And this time, India lifted the trophy. The stat and the trophy finally shook hands. For 24 years, Sachin Tendulkar walked out to bat against Curtly Ambrose and Wasim Akram in the 1990s, against Brett Lee and Shoaib Akhtar in the 2000s, against Dale Steyn and James Anderson in the 2010s. 3 generations of the world's most dangerous fast bowlers, and one man showed up every time. You do not survive 24 years at the highest level by playing for yourself. You survive because you are the system. Happy birthday, Sachin. The numbers do not lie.